Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and as I'm filming this, it is the first day of fall, and that got me in the mood to do the end of year book tag. So this tag has been around for years. I will link the original below. You don't have to be tagged to do it. It's one of those just traditions on BookTube. That's kind of what it's become. And contrary to what the title might suggest, it's not a tag you do at the very end of the year. It's a tag you do leading up to the end of the year. So starting in the autumn as we think about the end of the year. We'll start with who I tag, and I tag you. Like I said, this is a BookTube tradition, so you don't need to be tagged to do it. So I figured I will just tag all of you. This can serve as your reminder to do this tag if this is something that you would be interested in doing or that you were planning to do. This is your reminder to do it. If you don't have a BookTube channel, I still tag you. I will leave the prompts in the description so that you can also answer the questions. Please comment below and I'd love to have a chat with you. So without further ado, let's get into the questions. The first one is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? No, but I do have an answer for this that's kind of not cheating, but expanding this question a little bit. So there's nothing that I've started this year that I need to finish. I've DNF'd books that I don't plan to return to, but everything I've started I am currently reading and planning to finish. But there is something I started last year that I DNF'd temporarily. I put it to the side because I knew that it wasn't that I wasn't liking the book, I was just reading it at the wrong time. And that is Silver Sparrow by Tayari Jones. I got a decent chunk through this book, maybe like a third. And like I said, it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying it or that I didn't like it, but I started reading this immediately after finishing The Color Purple. And I just don't think it's very fair to pit this book against The Color Purple. And The Color Purple was just one of those books that I needed to sit with and reflect on. And it's one of those books that sticks with you for a while. And so I just needed time to process that book before jumping into another one. So I put this aside, but I just never got back to it. So maybe I should try to finish it before the end of this year. Question number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? And surprisingly, I don't really have a solid answer for this one. I say surprisingly because I love the autumn. I know that might be a basic thing to say, but it's basic for a reason. It's because it's an awesome season. And I love nothing more than curling up with a good book in the fall, lighting some candles, getting the vibes, right? But I couldn't think of anything on my TBR that screamed autumnal vibes to me. The only thing I came up with is that Victober, because it happens in the fall, it has made me associate Victorian literature with the autumn. So for this, I'm going to go with something from my Victober TBR, and that's Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I have no idea if any part of this book is set during the fall. This could be in the heat of summer. I don't know. But like I said, there's just something now that's been connected in my brain between autumn and Victorian literature. The next question, is there a new release you're still waiting for? The answer is no, not for this year, and that's what I'm assuming this question meant. I don't follow new releases really. I mean, I hear about them occasionally, mostly through booktubers, but I don't pay too much attention to new releases, and so there's nothing that I can remember that's coming out by the end of this year that I'm still waiting on. The only thing I could think of is something that's coming out next year, and that is Katie from Books and Things debut novel that is coming out. I think it's in February or March, maybe? I've forgotten. I don't think I told you the title. It's The Secrets of Heartwood Hall is the name of the book. So I'm very excited for that to come out, but that's next year. The next question, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Well, at the beginning of the year, I made a very short list and very manageable list of 5 books that I would like to read in 2022. And of that very manageable list of 5 books, I have read none of them so far. So really there are 5 books that I would like to read by the end of the year. But I am going to pick 3 of those so that I am sticking to the question. 3 of those that are on that list that I really would like to get to more so than the others are, first of all, this nonfiction book, Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. I heard about this, I think, shortly after it came out, and I've been wanting to read it ever since. It's a book about aging and death and how the medical system views that, even though it's an inevitability, it's something that we just try to push away. And if you know me, I love things that are related to grieving and death. So this book is just something that I think I'm really going to enjoy. The other book from that list is Beloved by Toni Morrison. I want to read this so badly, but I frankly am scared to. I just know that this book is going to devastate me. And every time I think, okay, I'm going to read it, I kind of get intimidated and don't pick it up. But I really would like to finish it by the end of this year. And the last book I don't have a copy of, it's Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I haven't read any Robin Hobb, but I would love to. I love fantasy, but I don't feel like I've read a ton of fantasy the last few years, so I would love to read more, and I am just really looking forward to this trilogy. So those are the 3 books I want to read by the end of the year. The next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I mean, never say never, but I would be shocked. I would be shocked if something bumped the current number 1 for me. But I never say never, because what is current number 1 bumped something else that I thought wouldn't get bumped. I read Unsettled Ground by Claire Fuller earlier this year, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was just my kind of book. It had all of the elements that I just love in a book. And after I read it, I just knew this is going to be my top book for the year. Like, nothing's going to beat this. And then I read The Wonder by Emma Donoghue, and I fell in love so hard with this book. It was just like, there are books that I love that are favorites of mine that I can see that there are flaws or that I don't think are perfect, but I love them despite all their flaws. They're 5-star reads for me, even if I know that they're not perfect. But this book is perfect to me. Not everyone's going to like it, but for me, this is a perfect book. I can't think of any word that I would change in this book. And so, it's going to be one of my all-time favorites, and I just can't see anything knocking it off of the pedestal right now. But like I said, anything could happen. The last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2023? And the answer is no. And this is surprising, because normally by now I would have started thinking about my reading plans for next year. But this year I started mood reading just because, I don't know, I got into a funk, or maybe I just have changed as a reader now, because I have been mood reading basically all year for the most part. And I am showing no signs of wanting to change. Like, I have just fully embraced mood reading as a thing now, whereas before I was very much like strict TBR type of person. But because I've transitioned, whether that's permanently or temporarily, to a mood reader, I have not started thinking about reading plans yet, because that's just not where my mind is right now. I probably will still make some plans for next year, so I'll probably do something closer to the end of the year, and I think I will most likely have an end of year retrospective, reflect on how my reading year went, how mood reading went, and from there I will come up with my plan for next year. But that remains to be seen. I haven't really thought about it, but I am going to make a video towards the end of the year, kind of reflecting on my reading in 2022. So that's the end of the tag. Remember that I tag you all. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.